Hare Krishna devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. All glory to Srila Prabhupada. Welcome devotees to evening Bhagavad Gita class by Srila Prabhupada says. We will continue with Bhagavad Gita chapter 1 verse 43. We request devotees to please increase the volume and try to have at least one takeaway that we can share and discuss at the end of the class. Without further delay, we will start the class. Hare Krishna.
Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om 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 Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Utsanna Kula Dharmanam Manushyanam Janadana Narake Niyatang Vaso Bhavati Iti Anushruma Utsanna Kula Dharmanam Manushyanam Janardana Narake Niyatam Vaso Bhavati Yanushruma Utsanna Kula Dharmanam Manushyanam Janardana Narake Niyatang Vaso Bhavati Yanushruma Spoiled Kula Dharmanam of those who have the family tradition. Manushyanam of such men. Janardana, O Krishna. Narake, in hell. Niyatam, always. Vasaha, residence. Bhavati, it so becomes. Iti, thus. Anushruma, I have heard by disciplic succession. Translation. O Krishna, maintainer of the people, I have heard by disciplic succession that those who destroy family traditions dwell always in hell.
So, family tradition, whose family tradition? Manushyana. Family, Manushyana, those who are human beings, they have got family and family rituals, Kuladharma, Jati Dharma, just like Chaturvarnam Maya system, Gunakarma Vibhaga. This is meant for the human being, Manushyana, not for the animals. So, unless the human society accepts these principles of Varnashram Dharma ordained by Krishna, the Supreme Lord, he is not considered amongst the human beings. They are as good as animals, because there is no regular, systematic principles of how to live a human being. Therefore, in the Vishnu Puran, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was talking with Ramananda, so Chaitanya Mahaprabhu inquired What is the actual aim of life? Sadha sadhan. Sadha and sadhan. What is the aim? Sadha means what for this human form of life we have got. That is called sadhya, the goal of life. And sadhan. Sadhan means the activity by which we can attain, we can achieve that goal of life. This is called sadha sadhana. The Darwin theory, although they are giving some idea of progressive evolution, but he does not know what is the goal of life, why this progress is there. That these rascals, they do not know. They simply just imagining, taking some hints from the Padma Purana, Brahma Vaivarta Purana. Asiding Saturang Chaiva Jivajatis Lokhang Stang Jivajatis. There are 8,400,000 types of Jivajati. Asiding Chaturang Chaiva Lokhang Stang Jivajatis. This is already there. Brahmadvi. In this way, the living entity is wandering in the cycle of transmigration of the soul. So from this, Mr. Darwin might have taken some hints, but he could not explain properly. He could not catch up that Brahmadvi, who is wandering. So it is a chaos. So anyway, why this living entity is wandering, not fixed up, so there must be some goal. He's hankering after that. There must be some goal of life. To achieve that goal of life, that is called sadha. Why we are struggling here? For happiness or something else, we are struggling. So this question was raised by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. What is the goal of life? Unless there is goal of life, why there is struggle? Why there must be some goal of life, sadha. And sadhan. Sadhan means the means by which we can achieve that goal of life. That is called sadhan, sadhana. So Ramananda Rai quoted, because when there is talk between two learned persons, they, just like nowadays it has become a fashion, in my opinion, I think in this way. That what nonsense, why we can think? What is your knowledge? But he is very proud. Everyone writes that. The other day, the Sir Alistair Hardy came, he also says, it is my opinion. Nobody thinks that he is a nonsense number one. What is the value of his opinion? Nobody thinks. But this is the basic principle. Even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he was asked by Prakashananda Saraswati that you are a sannyasi, you do not engage yourself in the study of Vedanta, you are simply chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. So, because sannyasi is supposed to be always reading Vedanta philosophy especially and all other philosophies. So what is this that you are chanting? Like a sentimental person. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu replied, yes, my Guru Maharaj, spiritual master, saw me a fool number one. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, it was known to Prakashananda Saraswati, he was a great learned scholar in his student life. So he is posing himself as a fool number one. So this is the way. Chaitanya Charitamrita, the author of Chaitanya Charitamrita, he is presenting himself as Purisher kit haite mui se lobhishta. I am lower than the worm of the stew. Purisher kit haite mui se lobhishta. Lobhishta means lower, lowest. Jagai Madhai haite mui se papishta. Jagai Madhai was taken. They are drunkards, woman hunters, therefore they are sinful. So Chaitanya Charitamrita says that Jagai Madhai haite mui se papishta. Although this is the way. Nobody think himself as one has become very big man and he has his own opinion to give. This is rascal. Everyone should think that I am free. What is my value? That is really learning. Humble and meek. Nobody should think that now I have learnt everything. I can surpass everyone. I have become above all rules and regulations. Now I have become Paramahamsa. This is rascal. Everyone should always think and fool number one. Therefore they never will go on to become perfect. If we think that now I have become perfect, Paramahamsa, then the spiritual regulatory principles will never be followed. And he will fall down. So, here Arjuna also says, the narake niyatanga vasa bhavati iti anususuma. Krishna, I have heard it from authoritative sources. He never says, Krishna, in my opinion, if it is done like that, then people will go to hell. He does not give his own opinion. He says, iti, thus, anususuma, I have heard. This is called parampara system. Nobody should give his own opinion. He must quote the authoritative statement to support his proposition. So similarly, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked, what is the aim of life and how to achieve it? So Ramananda Rai, he did not give his own opinion, that in my opinion, like this. Here also Arjuna says, iti anususuma, I have heard it. Heard it means, susuma means heard from authority. So Ramananda Rai said that a real purpose of life, goal of life, is to satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Just like as we are citizens, what is our duty? We want to satisfy the authority, the government. When one serves the government nicely, in this country he is recognized as knight, he is recognized as Earl, as Lord, as so many, they have got title. Every country, when a person is a very exalted citizen, then he is recognized by the God. See, if this is the system in our ordinary life, then the aim of life should be to satisfy the supreme governor or supreme government. It is very common sense. So, but they have no supreme government. They think whatever government we make, that is final. No. There are so many kingdoms, so many planets. In each planet there is government, there is authority, and above all of them there is the supreme authority, Krishna. Ishvara Parama Krishna, Sachidananda Vigraha. This is the Shastric Indian. There are many controllers. In this planet there is controller, there is another planet, another planet. In Brahma is the controller of the whole universe. Just like in our government there is system, one department, several departments is being managed by another director, several director is being managed by another secretary. And the same system, Krishna is the supreme proprietor, Sarvaloko Maheshwara. And he has got many secretaries, assistants. They are called Brahma. So Brahma means the manager of one Brahmanda universe. And there are millions of Brahmas, millions, trillions, they are numberless. Ananta Koti. Jasya Prabha Prabhavatu Jagadanda Koti. Koti. Koti means unlimited. Jagadanda. Jagadanda means universe. Brahmanda or Jagadanda. Anda. Anda means it is egg shape, round egg shape. That is called Anda. Brahmanda. Bhugol. Gol means round. I have heard that before the science, the people were under the impression that this world is square. Is it not? Flat. Flat, yes. But in the Vedic Shastra, millions of years ago, it is mentioned Bhugol. Gol means round. Just see. And these Jaskars say that formally people are not so intelligent. They are intelligent because they are thinking this world is flat. And those who have spoken millions of years ago, it is round, they have less intelligence. You see. Gol means round. Bhugol. Similarly, Jagadanda, Anna means round. Just like egg. Anna means egg. Jagat Anda, this universe is egg shape. And you can see also, the sky is round. This is the wall of this universe. So anyway, as we are here in this small government, our business is to satisfy the government. If publicly, suppose if you decry the queen, or if you say publicly in a meeting, the queen is a prostitute, then what will be? Immediately you will be arrested and punished. In your private house you can say, nobody will hear. But if you say such thing nonsense in public, immediately you will be criminal. Therefore your duty is to respect the queen, to abide by the orders of the government. That is your aim of good citizenship. What is the difference between good citizen and outlaws? The difference is a good citizen is always trying to satisfy the government by abiding the laws given by God. So therefore our ultimate goal is to satisfy the Supreme Government, Krishna, because Krishna is the Supreme. These universes, they are Krishna's kingdom. There are many kingdoms, just like we have got many universes within this material world. Similarly, there are many spiritual planets in the spiritual world. These are common sense affairs. Why people will not understand? Therefore, our business is to satisfy Krishna, to become perfect. Satisfy Krishna. Vishnu aradhate. So how Vishnu aradhate? This is the philosophy. Nati vidu sarthagatingi Vishnu. Just suppose in an office, you are immediate boss, some superintendent of the office, you follow his orders. Although he is not final, above the superintendent of the office, there is another secretary, above the secretary there is another director, above the director there is managing director. These are common sense things. Similarly, there are many, many controllers. But the supreme controller is Krishna or Vishnu. So it is common sense affair that our aim of life is to satisfy the Supreme Lord, Vishnu or Krishna. This is common sense. Is there any other reasoning that why you should satisfy? No, you have to satisfy. So this is Vaishnavism. One who wants to satisfy Vishnu, he is called Vishnu. That is Vaishnavism. Vishnu means the Supreme Lord. So everything is arranged to satisfy the Lord Vishnu. So where from it begins? The cats and dogs, they can be trained up for satisfying Vishnu? No, there is no possibility. They are dogs, animals, they are simply busy with four principles of life: eating, sleeping, sex life and defense. That's all. They cannot be trained up that you become very obedient to Lord Vishnu, become a devotee, manmana bhava mad bhakta madhyaji mam namaskuru, you become the devotee of Krishna. No, that is not possible. Therefore, it is said that manusana, it is the duty of the manusya, not of the dogs. Manusyana. Ussanna kuladharmana manusana janardana. So, human life has got a great responsibility. If you become like cats and dogs, the hippies, then utsanna, everything is destroyed. Utsanna kuladharma. They have no family. They don't care for any rules and regulations. Utsanna, everything destroyed. Jaganna guna vrittista. No family life, no taking bath, no worship, nothing at all. Irresponsible. I have seen it in Amsterdam. What is that park? Horrible. Exactly. This what was spoken by Arjuna 5,000 years ago, it is now happening. Utsanna, all destroyed. Finished. Kula dharmana, no family life. Therefore, for human beings, it is the duty to understand his position, and it is his duty to satisfy the Supreme Law. This is the whole plan. Therefore, Ramananda Rai quoted the verse from Vishnu Purana, the Varnasama Charvatanga Purushena Parakuman Vishnu Aradhyate. Because the aim is to satisfy Vishnu, to become Vaishnava. To become Brahmana is also lower status. You will hear from the Chaitanya Charitamrita that our Madhavendra Puri, he was installing deities. So there are many Brahmanas, caste Brahmana, born in. So in order to give charge of worship to those Brahmanas, he initiated them to become Vaishnava. Because without becoming Vaishnava, nobody has got right to worship Vishnu. Vishnu will not accept anything from anyone unless he is devotee. And Krishna is poverty stricken that he has come to take from you. He cannot eat, he has no eating means. No. He agrees to accept our offering just on the basis of love. The Vaishnava loves Vishnu, and Vishnu agrees to accept any foodstuff. Patram pushpam phalam toyam jumi bhaktya prajachyati. That bhakti is main thing, not your palatable dish. Vishnu is quite competent to prepare 1,000 times better palatable dishes than you can offer. But the real thing is bhakti. So Vishnu Aradhana means, that should be the aim of human life. Vishnu Aradhana means one must become a Vaishnava. And Vaishnava means regulated life. Not destroy everything, finished, to become hogs. That is not Vaishnava. Vaishnava means regulated. Aim to how to satisfy Vishnu. So whole Vedic scheme is there. How to satisfy Vishnu. Therefore it is said, the Usanna Kula Dharmanam Manushana, in the human life, if they do not follow the regulative principles of family life, family tradition, and systematic arrangement of whole division of the society, Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, in this way we can satisfy the Supreme Lord. Our aim is to satisfy the Supreme Lord, and this can be done perfectly if we follow the regulative principles of Jati Dharma, Kula Dharma. Jati Dharma means if you are born in the family of a Brahmana, you have got particular duties. Simply, if you think yourself that I am born in a Brahman family, my duty is all finished. Now I can do whatever nonsense. They think like that. I have spoken. They are very much proud of taking birth in Brahmana family. So when others are engaged in devotional service, they say, oh, you are born in lower family, you have got to do this. We are born in Brahman, we have nothing to do. But they do not know that Jati Dharma Kulaghrana, Ussanna Kuladharmana. If you are actually Brahmana, you must keep your family tradition. That is Brahmana. Otherwise, if you sacrifice everything of your family tradition, just like in your country, the Lord family is maintained. The government, the Lord family has got money deposited with the government and government gives the interest so that the family tradition may be maintained, the aristocratic style, or if they spoil, there no more cares for them. Then their house will be sold and they will be street beggar. That's all. No more lordship. So everywhere, you take politically or socially or spiritually, they for human beings. If you want to make your life successful, then you must keep the tradition of Brahmana Vaishnava. So we are Vaishnava. Our only tradition is how to satisfy Vishnu. That is the tradition of everyone. But especially Vaishnava. They must be very alert, very careful how to keep Lord Vishnu or Krishna satisfied. That is our only business. So you should not neglect it. Then usanna kula dharmana. Then you will spoil everything. When you have invited Vishnu or Krishna, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, to accept your service, you must be very, very careful how to render service, how cleanly, how nicely you have to serve. Otherwise, everything will be spoiled. Sanna kula dharmana. Vaishnava's kula dharma is simply to satisfy Krishna. So, in the Manusana, actually, human life begins when he is ready to serve the Supreme Lord, Vishnu. That is human life. Otherwise, animal life. Therefore, the whole world is in chaos. They are not eager to serve Vishnu. They are simply eager to serve their senses. Godas, servant of the senses. So, instead of becoming servant of the senses, you have to become master of the senses. That is called Goswami. If you remain servant of the senses, then you are Godas. Kamadinam katidhana katidha. That is animal life. But when you become master of the senses, how it is possible? Master of the senses. Now if you employ your senses always in the service of Krishna, your senses are already controlled. Just like your tongue. Your tongue asks you, go to the restaurant and eat some nice thing. But if you are a Vaishnava, if you have this vow that I shall not allow my tongue to eat anything except prasadam, it is already controlled. Goswami. That means to control the senses means to engage the senses in the service of the Lord. This is control. Otherwise by force, just like the yogis, they try artificially by some gymnastics. That may be possible for some time, but there are many instances because by force you cannot control the senses. That is not possible. You must give better engagement. By force, you think that I shall control my tongue, I shall control my eyes, I shall control my head, I control my belly. Artificial. It may be possible for some time. But they are so strong, the senses are so strong, artificially it cannot be controlled. Paramadrishta, stated in the Bhagavad Gita. You give the senses better engagement. Then you can control. Rishikena Rishikesha Sevanam Sarvapadi Vinimuktam Tat. You have to purify the senses. How? By engaging the senses in the saparate, no? Then you will be able to purify the senses. And purified senses, when you are engaged in the service of the Supreme, that is called bhakti. So, if we are actually human beings, Manushana, Kuladharma, this family tradition is not meant for the cats and dogs. If you live like cats, no question of family tradition. But if you want to live like human being, Manusha, then this system must be Parvata Purushena Paraprama. Atmanang Maya system, Gunaganma Vihar, then society must be divided into four classes. As we have got four divisions in the Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra must be there. And each one should serve according to his guna or karma, quality and capacity to work. This whole society is organized. Position will be perfect, there will be peaceful, no war, nothing of the sort, and gradually making progress back to order. Otherwise it will be chaos become at the present moment. So Arjuna says, Ussanna Kula Dharmana, Manusana, Manusya, Janardana. Jana means general public. And one who controls. Krishna controls everything. Janardana. So, my dear Janardana, Krishna, in the human society, if this plan, this traditional process, then what it becomes? Narake niyatangabhasa. If we do not, if we live like cats and dogs, then next life you get cats and dogs. And these rascals do not know, they do not know the next life. So it is horrible condition. Purposely you put yourself, if you do not follow the process, the varnashram dharma in society. Ussanna kuladana manusana janardana naraki niyatam. Niyatam means always. Here we have no, just like the hellish life, eating stew, living in filthy place. Maya is dictating, you are more than a king. Yes. Sometimes Indra became a hog, and by the curse of Brihaspati, so when Brahma again came to recall him, the hog, Indra, he was Indra, he denied responsibility. Family, the hog eating Apuranatmika, lowest standard living, he will think that I am very happy. This is called Avarana. If the hog thinks that I am living the lowest, he will die. In the human mind, in this condition of life, then he can make progress in spiritual life. And so long he thinks, I am feeling very peacefully, very happy. Athata Brahma Jigyasa. Unless one comes to that sense will come when one follows the tradition of family life.
The recording was pretty bad towards the last 5 minutes, but I'm very grateful that we actually have the transcription. That really helps a lot. Even though we may not be able to pick up the recording, but at least Krishna's arrangement, the devotees did a very good job transcribing it. So all glories to the Vaishnavas. So would like to ask devotees if any questions or any from this lecture, or if you have a sharing or a takeaway from this amazing lecture by Srila Prabhupada, just one takeaway, please. Do unmute yourself and share, or you can post in the chat and I'll be happy to read it. One of my takeaway is when Srila Prabhupada was speaking about good citizen and outlaws, he defined that a good citizen is one who follows and abides the rules of the government. And I know of many instances from Srila Prabhupada disciples where Srila Prabhupada actually have always instructed his disciples never to go against the government. Pay your taxes on time, pay your bills on time, file your taxes on time, don't cheat the government, because it is because of them that we are allowed to preach Krishna consciousness. So Srila Prabhupada always said that we should be thankful, even though we live in a crazy Kali Yuga world, with politics and war and pestilence or what have you, but still, we are using this material nature, whatever is around us, to preach Krishna consciousness. So for that, we should be grateful, and we should be law-abiding citizens. Srila Prabhupada was very, very strict, and strict on that point. That he even told devotees, in the name of Krishna consciousness, we should not do things cheaply. We should not cheat. We should not take advantage. I mean, he said, just follow the book of the law. So yeah, so follow the words of the law. So that was one of my takeaways from this lecture from Srila Prabhupada. But would like to hear from others. If you have a takeaway, please do unmute yourself and share. Yes, go ahead.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Wonderful lecture by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jay.
Yeah. I have two kind of comments and takeaway also.
Nice.
Prabhupada was mentioning, if you want to be the Goswami of our senses, we have to engage our senses in Krishna's service. Otherwise, it is not possible. That was a strong comment.
Yeah.
And we can learn so much out of it.
Yeah.
Another thing Srila Prabhupada was mentioning is, if someone is living life comfortably, he will not be desperate to follow this Krishna consciousness or follow the regulative principles and basically sadhana. He will not be desperate. So I was thinking, everyone is looking for the happiness, but that's not help to go progress in Krishna consciousness. I was just thinking on that part.
That's a very good point, Prabhu. You actually, my husband and I have had this discussion many times, that when people are happy, then there's no need to look for Krishna because they're happy.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right? So we have to be very unhappy and disgusted.
Open for what comings, and it's mercy. If we are going through, then we gonna go towards the Krishna more rigorously and more with the speed. If the things are, one should be open for if some trouble is happening. Hey, it's time to increase the Krishna consciousness.
Yeah. Absolutely. Actually, I was thinking of a point that came to my mind as you were speaking, that I've heard that, when the body is healthy, we don't look for the doctor.
Right.
When the body is sick, then we try to call the doctor, this and that, the nurse, blah, blah, blah. It's because the body is not normal. So we want a comfortable, fit, healthy, beautiful body. But when it's a little bit off, then we look for help. So I was thinking the same thing in life, when we are so happy and content with material energy, with material amenities, we never think of the Lord. In fact, I think that was one lecture by Srila Prabhupada that I was listening to, where Srila Prabhupada says, when we are good, then we are happy. When something bad, oh God, why did you do that to me? How can you be such a mean God, right? But the thing is that that thing is happening because we were too comfortable.
Exactly.
Yeah, but I was having that same thought many times that, if we are happy, we will never think of Krishna because everything is good.
Correct.
We need disturbances, we need problems, just like Mata Kunti. That's a good example. Queen Kunti said, she prayed, Krishna, give me calamity so I won't forget you.
Correct.
That is Krishna consciousness. But that's a very good point, Prabhu. Very good point. Absolutely. If we are happy, we cannot take to Krishna consciousness. We have to be disturbed. We have to be disgusted. But yeah, very nice takeaway. Thank you for sharing that. And I also like your takeaway, because that was also my takeaway. I actually wrote it down because I have this notebook where I write all my lecture notes when I hear from speakers, and where to control the senses is possible by better engagement, like you shared. That was one of my takeaway too, that so the more our senses bother us, that means we have to do more service.
Exactly.
So amazing. Yeah, thank you for that nice takeaway. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji.
Haribol. Prakshit Prabhu, go ahead, my husband. Go ahead.
Hare Krishna. I accept my humble obeisances. Please, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. So actually, I was going to talk about my takeaway, but since you started going talking about things that people who are comfortable do, that is, they don't pay attention to Krishna because materially they're okay, and they feel they're okay. So we have to kind of get some challenges before we turn our attention to Krishna. Now, it's actually, Srila Prabhupada talks about that in Bhagavatam, Canto 3, chapter 21, text 21, in the purport. And I pulled it up, it says in the second paragraph, unless one is disgusted with the enjoyment of this material world, he cannot aspire for liberation. Liberation is for one who is disgusted with material enjoyment.
I
So
see.
this is how he put it. So we see the world for what it is. And that's why in many lectures you hear the sannyasis, they never praise material energy. They have to get out of this situation. They have to get out of the situation. Anyway, from my takeaway, Prabhupada started talking about the goal of life, sadhya, and sadhana, the activity by which you can attain the goal of life. Because he started by defining those two and said there has to be some goal of life. Otherwise, why are we struggling? But then he began to indirectly talk about humility, because he said, if we think we're advanced, then we're going to fall down. Srila Prabhupada quoted Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu talking to Prakashananda Saraswati that, so you see me as sannyasi, but my Guru Maharaj says I'm fool number one. So I should just chant. But of course, he knew that the chanting was one that purifies the consciousness. So, but this is how he put it. As a sign, Lord Chaitanya giving a sign for us to also consider ourselves low. Srila Prabhupada says, if we consider ourselves low, then there is room to learn more. If you say you don't know much, then there's room to learn more. But if you think you're advanced, then you think you want to control other people and know better, and then the false ego kicks in. So we have to be very, very careful about that. And then in so many ways, he went around and came back to the same point about one has to satisfy the supreme governor, Krishna. So our goal is to satisfy Krishna. Vaishnava is one who wants to satisfy Lord Vishnu. People don't know that Nati Vidu Swata Gatum Vishnu, because people don't realize that the aim of life is to serve Vishnu. That the animals cannot serve Vishnu. So Manushyana, these rules are for men, for human beings. And then he talked about Brahman status. Even that's a lower status. So Madhavendra Puri had to initiate caste Brahmanas to become Vaishnavas before they could serve Lord Vishnu. So, and then of course our life is a regulated life. But Vaishnava lives a regulated life. It's very obvious. Among devotees, we do things pretty similar. But if you come around somebody who is a non-devotee and they live in their karmi life, that's how you see that's when you see how different you are from them, in the way you look at life. So we live actually regulated lives, all of us. Hare Krishna. This is some of it I've picked up. Hare Krishna.
Thank you for sharing. Actually, I do like the sharing, and thank you for sharing the point about sadhya and sadhana. That was one of my takeaways, and I'm glad you mentioned it, because I really liked how Srila Prabhupada differentiated, at the same time compared them, and at the same time linked them together, the meaning of the words and how they're different and how they're connected. So I definitely learned something new from those 2 points, sadhya and sadhana. Was I may have heard it, I don't remember, but it was definitely a good reminder and a good lesson for me too, one of my takeaways. So thank you for bringing that up. And thank you for mentioning the Srikant, third canto 21:21, confirming Srila Prabhupada's statement in the purport that we have to be disgusted. Only then will we take to Krishna consciousness. So I'm happy you brought that up. Canto 3, chapter 21, verse 21. And I put it in the chat if in case devotees would like to reference to that. And you said it's third paragraph? Second paragraph. Okay. So I'll put that in chat if devotees would like to reference such a powerful point. Very, very powerful point. Thank you. Any other takeaways from devotees? Any thoughts, any reflections, that you would like to share? It's almost 7. Yeah, go ahead.
I think you are on mute, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. The aim is to satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead. we must become master of the senses. We serve the senses, then we'll go das. Become master of the senses, go Swami. But we have to serve. We serve the senses of Krishna, though. We control our senses and then serve senses of Krishna. This is how we're going to become happy. And he says, when we employ our senses in the service of Krishna, then the senses become automatically controlled. So it's not like we stop it, like the yogis trying to artificially control the senses, which go on for some time, but that go on for some time, but the senses are strong, so they won't last like that. But when we employ our senses to serve the master of the senses, Krishna, then our senses are automatically controlled. So that's what I wanted to add to Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much. Yes, that was a good point. How to, and I like the word that Sri Prabhupada used. He used better engagement. That was a key word that really caught my attention. Was he says to engage the sense, no, to control the senses, we have to better engagement. So to me, the word better was like saying you got to do more. At least if for me personally, I felt that the word better, means okay, you have to do it and you better do it and you got to do it more. If not, it's and the more we fight with the senses, that means the more we have to engage it. So it's like better engagement. So we got to engage the minds better, and also in better devotional service, the right devotional service, the right attitude of service and activity. So that was that the word better was very strong for me personally. So just wanted to share that too. Thank you so much. Any other takeaways from devotees? Any thoughts on this really deep? Prabhupada's lectures are so amazing, really amazing. I mean, things that we won't even think about, your Prabhupada just brings it up and it's like, whoa, amazing. If there, go ahead.
Janardana. We talked about Janardana.
Yeah.
Jana means general public, and one who has control, he's Janardana.
Yeah.
It's that because I've heard Janardana so many times, so I'm glad in this part to Prabhupada has defined Janardana Krishna, in control of the general public. Hare Krishna.
Learn something new again, Janardana. Amazing. We can learn so much just from hearing from Srila Prabhupada. We can learn a whole, everything. Don't have to go anywhere else. Very powerful. Thank you so much. If there are no more questions, thoughts, we thank you all for joining us, and please join us tomorrow morning for a class with Vrinda. I think tomorrow's Tuesday. Yes, tomorrow is Vrindavan Shri Radhika from ISKCON Philadelphia. It's her class in the morning. Please do join us. Until then, Vanchakraptivyascha Kripasindubheva Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.